Hi everybody, Sanbonani. Welcome to Reality Buzz TV, where we talk about all things reality TV shows and all things reality TV show stars. Let's talk about the McKennas, okay? Listen, you guys, I think it's one of those shows that we're going to realize when it's already the last episode because it's the first season. We are still just trying to figure out what are they trying to tell us with this story on this show. So in the recent episode, you guys, we do see that the main storyline is Latoya and her relationships with like romantic relationships, the past relationships, the current relationship, the her relationship with her kids, and also how her romantic relationships have affected her relationships with the kids. Now, I think that is one storyline, one big storyline. Another one that they are trying to make it a big storyline, but it's Hunter's addiction. And I do understand why they would want that to be a big storyline. But I think that the problem with Hunter is that she is currently addicted. And so it's hard to even get like a lot of scenes from her because half the times they can't find her. And then when she finally comes, she has that thing where she's the one that is dealing with the substances, needing help from the family. The family wants to help, but she is in the victim pool. She's swimming in the victim pool. You know, everything that the family says to hold her accountable, she turns it around so that she becomes a victim and then she's walking away from the conversations. And but I do know that there are families that are going to be able to relate to that story because they are dealing with family members that are dealing with this issue. Let me say this, you guys, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. This was a low budget season of this show. Possibly because, really honestly, they probably didn't have a lot of money to spend on outfits, on the diary session look, and we are born even doing it there. I think umuntu that made an effort, ugogo, no big sister. ULatoya nje uyithathela iy'ngubo zakhe aye-actor ngazo ku-Generation Season 1. Ayigqoke ingubo ayihlalele kwi-diary session, and then it's those white shoes. You know, like I would like very most shows, the first season, they do make an effort kuma diaries, but then it's like they when they watch themselves they're like, no, we could have done better. So every season they just go like, so hopefully now, but we will see that because that's another thing that will be exciting about the show, seeing them move from, to then, yeah, you understand. Not only that, but also just in their lives, because Latoya does have a house, but it's one of those things. It's like Nandi. Remember Queen Nandi when she did her show and she had just moved to that Senton house. And later on, we found out because there was just the house that the show had rented for her to shoot the show. I'm still hoping that they do give us Nandi's second season of the show because I like the show. But even with Latoya, it feels the same. Like she got a house to shoot at, but then it makes you think like, where do you stay? If that's the case, like where do you stay? But listen, you guys, there are videos that have been going around. I still need to go and find this video and listen to all of it. But I saw somebody that had posted Latoya's baby daddy exposing her. But here is the thing, you guys. I did not hear anything that he was saying. It's not like he was speaking a language I don't understand. But I was just shocked by Iparangepela. I was like, because on the show they almost make him look like, okay, he might not like be the best looking man out there, but maybe, you know. But then when you watch this video, like I'm telling you, that video. I was watching and thinking, this man is really like look like Neymar. Like how the like I'm judging Latoya. He is not easy on the eye at all. Like how did and you made a baby. So apparently there are issues now between them, and that I still need to get into, like find out what happened, because on the show they are still getting along. So now he is posting videos defending himself. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. So as soon as I figure that out, I'll probably do a video. But I'm shocked by he really like is what people are saying, because I was like, guys, maybe it's just TV, but TV actually made him look better. Anyways, you guys, obviously people around Latoya have, it's like that thing where somebody is an adult, so you can't really tell them what to do, but at the same time, like the way that they're making decisions, you don't like them. Even their kids can see that, you just move on too fast, and then you not even choose people that are worth choosing. So it's very frustrating to have somebody that does that in your life. Like, you wish you could choose a man for for your friend or for your sibling, because what the hell are you doing, kind of a situation. And yeah, you guys, anyways, I do feel like Latoya is making an effort to really show like a sense of value that add a lot of value to the show. So we can say she's like the lead cast at this point, because she's shooting most of the scenes and she's shooting quality scenes. Now, you guys, we did get a conversation where she was talking to a friend just about her relationships, talking about Ulebo. Obviously, I think I don't have the permission to mention her name, or they just don't want to get into trouble with mentioning her name. So they beep every time that they're talking about what was happening with Latoya and Lebo. And so they were talking about things that Ulebo had said, the fact that she's a fake sangoma, she uses Sizokuthola substance, all of that. So she says, when the whole thing blew up publicly, she was already moving on with from the relationship. So when we were finding out, and Lebo was doing the interviews, she was a step ahead, because when we were shocked by what was being said to be happening in their relationship, it had been happening for a while. And it's just that she wasn't speaking about it, which I guess I do understand. But anyways, you guys, and she says that Lebo used to tell her that if she walked away from a relationship, she was going to make sure that she destroys her reputation, which is what she did anyways, you guys. But that's what happens in relationships sometimes. Now, with Blondie, their father, guys, I think that they're very lucky to have such a soft dad. I haven't seen a lot of dads that hug and kiss their daughters, especially like that generation. So I think that they were very lucky to have. I'm sure that having a father that is famous and that did the job that he used to do had its own disadvantage and exposed them to certain things that they shouldn't have been exposed to. But I think that, you guys, it's nice to have such a soft father that expresses their appreciation of you, their love, that will say that they miss you and all of that. I think they're very, I think it's not, I don't want to say it's not normal, but it's rare to find. He's very soft-hearted, very sweet. We haven't met his wife, guys. They've spoken about the fact that he does have his wife. We saw his youngest daughter. I think his daughter's like, 10, 11 years old. So Blondie is living the life still. He's still very busy. So I was like, guys, you can't do Blondie one in this 10-year-old. But he has a wife that we haven't met. And I wonder if we are not meeting the wife because she's just not doing the show. Because even when they did the dinner for grandma's birthday, she wasn't there, but Blondie showed up. But with with Big Sis, she had called her. So I think that they do get along, because there was a phone conversation that we had when they were talking about Hunse, but we haven't seen her. So I don't think that it's because they don't get along, but we haven't seen her. I'm still trying to figure out why she's not making an appearance. Now, we are seeing my interaction between Blondie and his mother today. Tonight, last night's episode, he brought her like chocolates, and I love their conversations as well. Like I said, I think the thing that I'm liking about Blondie is just that soft, being that soft side of an African man, a man that is able to show love and speak about loving his family and appreciating. I do like that. I don't want to lie, you guys. I really do like that about Blondie. Even when Hunse showed up in last night's episode, he was excited as if it's any of his children. He was like, my princess, you look so beautiful and all of that. So he really is, that he's not that tough father thing that we always get from African fathers. And I don't want to lie, I appreciate seeing that on the show. So even when Hunse shows up, he was excited to see her, saying she's beautiful. Even though some of us are like, oh my god, Hunse say it looks like that, because we all know her. Some of us know her from when she was young, how beautiful she used to look as a teenage girl. And from that to this, it's like, it's unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable how substances can just destroy your life, not just mentally, like physically. If you put a picture of Hunse as a teenager and now, it's not even the same person. So yes, so they're dealing with the Hunse situation. It doesn't look like she likes to communicate or deal with her sisters, and I don't understand why, because both of them, they have expressed their concern for her. So I'm still trying to figure out what is making her not like them. And she says that there is a person that wanted her to come to Durban to. I was like, did she say Durban or Dubai? Because at some point she said she needs a passport, and I was like, you don't need a passport to come to Durban, girl. I can just come and fetch you. Anyways, you guys, she says that there's somebody that wanted her to, even though I was like, Durban or Dubai. The only reason I said that is because she talked about needing an ID and a passport, because they had talked about how she does not have an ID, and I still don't know why she does not have an ID at her age, because you can just go to Home Affairs and get the ID if you're ilahlekile. Does that mean she never got an ID ever? I don't know. Now she says that there's this woman, this person, she didn't say a woman, there's this person she met at church, and that person wants her to come and look after their grandmother. I was like, does that person know that she's an addict? Because I feel like she should go to rehab before she goes and, be looking for a job. And obviously her sister asked her, so is that person aware that you have this problem? Shouldn't you be going to rehab? And then that's when the conversation went wrong. She's like, well, I guess I won't be getting the job then, because I guess I should be going to rehab. Like, she does that thing of turning conversations around, then you feel bad about saying the right thing, because what is wrong with your sister saying, listen, does this person know that you have this issue? Because apparently she has stolen things even from her grandmother. So if this woman is going to be taking her to her home, she should know that this person has a problem, because she might do the same to her. I thought it was a very valid thing to say or to ask. But what Duba, and she walked away. So now Okhunse is like a mix of her being she's not a last born. But I guess back then it was like she's the last born. Was she a last born? But in last born. But she's younger than the other sisters, because we just saw Blondie's little girl, so she's not the last born. But she has that thing, and then there's the addiction too, and no, I think a family member like that, especially if I've tried to assist and help and whatever, and they just don't want to, it's difficult, but I think I would just like, listen, you will call me when you need help, especially because in this family, it looks like everybody, they have issues of their own that I feel like at some point they might have to talk about. It's like the Mseleko family, when they started their reality show, it was easy to focus on this story and that, and be able to hide things and be like, "Mina, I'm zokhuluma ngalo, but I won't talk about this one." But eventually, if we continue doing a reality show, at some point, everybody is forced to talk about their issues. I think that they're very, very lucky to still there. They have their grandmother. She can still hear, she can still see, she can still speak. I think she can walk with assistance. They're the luckiest, honestly, you guys. So yes, the show, you guys, is still watchable. I wish we could meet more family members. Like for an example, the brother that came back home but is not speaking to the grandmother. We don't meet him. So I guess maybe he is not doing the show, because how are you going to do the reality show if you are not speaking to your family and you're missing out on money? Because even if it's 10 rand, clearly you need it if you are moving back to your grandmother's house. So we don't get to meet that brother because he's not speaking to anyone. Imagine your son moving back to, like, in your old age, your son moves back home, but he now does, but he's not talking to. I think it's the craziest thing. Anyways, you guys, that's what's happening with the show. It really is a nice show to watch. I don't want to lie, you guys. When I miss it, I want to catch up. It's that kind of a show. It's not like I get overly excited about it, but it's a nice one. It really is. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers.